Hello, everybody. I am Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Stranger Things, Season 4, Episode 3.
The Monster and the Superhero.
I love these, epic sci-fi fantasy horror culminations where all of your characters come together.
Yeah.
And it's fight to the death and the good triumphs and the hero and the princess, which is why I'm here to promote Fairy Tale.
Good job!
Fashion, fantasy, humor, and adventure collide when a group of spoiled royals must find and defeat an ancient evil in this, I forgot it already, contemporary reimagining of classic fairy tale stories and tropes. This is the book that we wrote. It's about fairy tales, and it's like if Gossip Girl meets Stranger Things.
No,
Game of Thrones.
Thrones.
It is exactly what I was trying. This is what I was trying to capture with that. I love this show is so good at that stuff, at the really selling you on that heart pumping excitement. When you were 12 years old and playing flashlight tag, and you're like, this is life or death shit.
Yeah.
And this just captures that feeling. Every season so far has really gotten it. And I think, honestly, one of my favorite things is the spectrum, not only of characters, but even ages.
Yeah.
That scene with Paul Reiser and Millie Bobby Brown.
God.
He's so good at that.
Yeah.
I was ready to take up arms.
All right, man, let's do it. Let's do it. Flip the table. No, I totally agree. I think it's really important that they have the kids who are now teenagers, but it's the kids and then the teens and then the grown-ups. And it's and now we're shifting all up a little, but I dig it so much.
It's nothing new. It's so much so that it's classic, tried and true.
I think it kind of is new. I don't know another thing that's done it this well.
But that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But it's so good because it's many, we talk a lot about how Buffy was metaphoric for, teenage angst and manifesting through literal monsters.
Yep.
And many of the Teen Wolf we talk about and all the others. But it just this is done so expertly. And it's so relieving to see something have the time and money it needs.
Yeah.
And to just know that you're watching, in real time, you're watching something excellent. So we'll start in Russia. Hopper has stricken a deal with...
I think it's Dimitri.
Well,
they're calling him Enzo still, but the guy who plays Jack and Hagar is called Dimitri, so...
And it does appear that he, at least, I was going to say, it appears it's Ernest. This, scheme.
They're cahooting.
Yeah, to get him out. And he bribed another inmate. I didn't fully understand.
So he could get his shackles off.
By...
breaking his ankle.
But he was, doing push-ups at the end. On a broken ankle? Fantine danced well into her sleep.
You don't need to have your feet... You don't have to put your feet on the ground. He could be doing it on his knees.
Well, he wasn't.
Well...
But, I was unsure, because at first I was did he break the shackle? Did he break the ankle? Did he just cause a gash? Because I admit I couldn't watch the scene.
Terrible cut on his foot.
And I was
too,
was it maybe for I wasn't entirely sure, but he is able to take a shackle off.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the bulk of that.
Yeah.
We did pick up literally where we left off with 11 and Angela.
Angela's really Draco Malfoying it up with this injury.
I mean,
no.
It's a real injury.
No.
Well,
of course it's a real injury. I just don't care. I hate her so much.
I do too, but I was to the head. I remember when we were kids, we were fighting with these kids that we didn't like, and we got into that Lord of the Flies mentality.
Feral place,
and I chucked a stick and it hit the kid between the eyes, and I was like, oops. I just remember the blood. It was whoosh.
Yeah.
And I went straight to his mother and threw myself upon the mercy. It kind of, we were younger than they were, but
it feels very.
That's how these things go. I was Elle is going to get in trouble, and
except for she's just not in trouble.
Deus Ex Machina, though.
Okay,
I mean,
no, fine. She was on her way to juvie, but when Paul Reiser shows up and she's like, "Am I in trouble for the roller skate?" And he goes, "Oh my God, no, don't even. We'll make that go away in 5 minutes. Don't even worry about it." I was like, amazing.
The 80s of it all, because those cops, God, I hated those cops. And she just was like not, I don't know.
She doesn't know how to help herself.
Yeah, I guess it was for the best, because I would be like, yeah, I did it, and I do it again, too. And I would like...
I just would have been like, she was provoking me.
She was mean to me.
Verbally, and so I fucking socked her in the face with a skate, and she deserved it.
It was about time. I almost even feel like that teacher would have testified on
Eleven's behalf. Yeah.
She was, awful. So, yeah, they did show up and arrest her.
Like the minute Joyce left for the airport.
Joyce, man,
Yeah.
they had a dinner scene where her and Maury were explaining about how they were going to Alaska, and
Jonathan was so high, stupid high.
because you were like, how does Joyce not know? And I was like, look, I firmly believe that Joyce loves her children. I was like, but she's never been accused of being a good mother.
Like an excellent mother, yeah.
No one has ever said.
It's true.
So they're on their way to Alaska just to do this like trade-off.
Tradesies, yeah.
And they did land. The kids are still sleuthing.
The kids in Hawkins, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We had Nancy and Maya, Robin.
Yeah.
We had Nancy and Robin chasing Nancy's hunch.
Mm-hmm.
I love them so much. I do just love Nancy.
Yeah.
I love that I love everything about her, but I also love at the end of the day, she is still kind of like a prissy bitch.
She is still kind of a priss, which like Robin even says that in season 3. She's like, because they're talking about like dating or whatever, and Steve says he was in love with Nancy, and she's like, she's such a priss though, and Steve was like, actually, she's not. Like, you'd be surprised, but you're right. At like the bottom of it, she kind of still is.
You are still who you are. I mean, yeah, you change, and she's exhibited tons of growth, and she's a very valuable asset.
Yeah.
But there's just that scene, because you have to realize that it's like, though it was very noble of Robin to like go with her to help. I also just loved that line where he was like, "What do you mean you don't have a license?" And she was like, "I'm poor."
Yeah.
Because some of these things are luxuries.
Are real. Yeah. Well,
sometimes having an ID is a luxury.
She says literally while they're in Max's trailer park, you know what I mean? Like, some people are poor, Steve. Mr. driving a BMW.
I liked that nod.
Yeah.
Because Steve is also still who he is sometimes. The thing with him and Dustin.
Yeah.
Oh my God, when he was like, "I'll knock the teeth back out of your mouth." And Dustin was like, "Whoa.
Whoa."
And he was like,
"Oh, not cool? Okay.
I'm sorry. And Dustin was like, "It's okay. It's just
too far."
I loved that.
Yeah.
It's those little nuggets that actually make us care about these people.
Well, and also when they're getting back in the car and Steve was like, "I'm always the fucking babysitter." And I was like, "You're so good at it. Like, you'd have to play to your strengths."
But I did love Robin sort of like just talking Nancy's ear off. And then sort of being like, "I'm really bad at social cues. You seem annoyed. Am I annoying? I feel like I'm annoying you." Nancy was, because like I was like, at the end of the day, she is still kind of like, okay, you're bringing a very specific sort of energy and a lot of it.
It's like all over. But I do like, because I was like, is Nancy like think that they're dating? Because I forget that it's not public knowledge that Robin is a lesbian.
As evidenced by Dustin.
Only Steve knows. Yeah. And so that's what I like about that a lot as well. I don't know. It's really good.
I think I know that there's like this underground thrum of talk about like nepotism, blah, blah, blah. I think Maya's really great. I think she was great in Fear Street, and I think she's great in this. And how do I say this and not have it sound asinine? She's like a perfect combination of her parents.
She's like... I agree with you. I could hear Uma in her a lot more in season 3.
So she gives me slightly more Ethan Hawke.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't, because she's a little, all due respect, I do not mean this as shade, but she's a little plain. And also the styling is doing her no favors here.
Well, sure.
Because she was at the premiere for this. And I was like, somebody get this bitch a Kylie Minogue biopic. She looks so much like 1991
Incredible.
Kylie Minogue. It's insane.
Well, I'm going to say something too that I also mean is no shade, but I do think she leans more towards Ethan because she's a more naturalistic actress.
Are you implying that Uma's a little bit heightened?
Do you still have the bride over here? Yeah.
I roared and I rampaged and I got bloody satisfaction.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying there's something more naturalistic about Maya's performances.
She just, like, her skin is so, like, creamy with those freckles.
Oh, the freckles. I love her stupid freckles.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the styling of the show, period.
Yeah.
But this season, I think they got the note last season because there were a lot of people that were, like, a little bit in good fun, but criticizing the neon of it all. And I remember a meme, and it was like what people think the 80s were like. Yeah. And it was like neon. Like from Stranger Things. If
we're being honest, the early 90s.
And it was like, and what the 80s were actually like, and it was just one of those brown glass McDonald's smoking, like, ashtrays.
Yeah.
The smoking disc? I couldn't think of the word ashtray.
It's been so long since we've needed one.
Everything is brown this season. It's
very good, though. It's very well done.
But no, so do we think that Nancy is still a little bit that she's put off by?
I think she must be.
Okay.
Well, Jonathan moved to, again, I thought they were moving to, like, Chicago. So they are, like, properly hours and hours and hours away.
So do we think we're putting Nancy and Steve back together?
I don't know that we're necessarily putting them back together, but I think it's interesting. Like, Steve is still hung up on her, for sure.
I kind of love it, and I think that I think it's sort of the thing, like, Jonathan was like, I don't want to, like, pursue somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
In a way that I think Steve is, like, built that way.
Steve is like, get me a strong woman and I will ride those coattails.
Kind of, yeah. I think both are valid options, and it's such a beautiful encapsulation of young love, of a love triangle that's somehow managing to avoid so much of the I'm really very into it. I cannot stop praising the juggling, the balance, the mastery 100% of tones on the show and this season. I'm really liking this.
Me too.
I don't want to celebrate too soon.
Well, okay, sure, because I am having one major problem. And it's Jason and his fucking basketball cronies.
The issue that I'm having with it is that we just not only believe, like, the kids believe he didn't do it.
Yeah. And we believe he didn't do it.
Well, we know he didn't
because we saw it. Yeah.
In order for me to tolerate the Jason plot, we can't have witnessed the scene. I think we needed to be on. So the only argument through the kid's perspective.
The only argument I'll make is that I am tolerating it because Lucas is there.
I like what it's doing for Lucas's story,
throwing them off the track essentially.
And the logic checks for me that an 80s bully is going to try and avenge his, like, girlfriend from the freak who killed. Like,
I'd love if we, like, alternated words though. He said the word freak 40 times in this episode.
I don't know.
And then they beat up Eddie's friend, the other D&D people. He was going to break his hand so he couldn't play drums anymore. It's unforgivable. He deserves the Angela treatment.
I think Angela's a little, in
his hot, dumb face.
I think Mason Dye's cute, and I'm getting a little bit butthurt at the representation of classically
blonde bullies?
Attractive blondes.
I love it.
No, I think he's cute, although he stays playing this role.
Yeah.
He wasn't it in Flowers in the Attic with Kieran Shipka.
That was a whole other can of worms, though.
and the Heather Graham.
Yeah.
And Ellen Burstyn. I really like that Lucas is kind of on his own plot, doing his own thing.
Well, and he is
it's authentic.
And he's helping because he took them to Hopper's cabin because he knows now where Eddie is hiding. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, they said Eddie was here for sure.
And so it seems like he dipped.
Yeah.
Like dipped out. Yeah. It seemed like it.
Because they were like, meet us at the school. Well, so Mike and 11 are also having like a fight.
Mike's trying his straight boy 14-year-old damnedest, but it's he's
moving on. That was exactly it.
He's like boffing it from two different from both sides, and he has No idea.
No idea what's going on. He won't say love Mike in the letters, and so she's mad about that. And she's also remembering the massacre that she apparently did in the facility.
They did. I am satisfied because remember I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. I hope they earn it.
Yeah.
And I'm satisfied.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever. And then
it goes back to the excellent Paul Reiser monologue.
Yeah.
Where she's sort of like, what if I'm, not the hero? And he's sort of like, you've been told what you are your whole life by men like me. And
well, he also said, I'm betting the entire world that I'm right about you.
I really, because sometimes that's just all you need.
Yeah.
Is someone to believe in you.
Also, I just I need someone to, and I mean, I guess maybe the most we're going to get is Paul Reiser just being like, oh, no, the skating thing is, you're not in trouble. But I need someone to sit her down and be like, you were provoked. You shouldn't respond physically. But you don't just haul off doing that. You were absolutely provoked into that.
I do hope we get a scene of like 2 agents showing up at Angela's house and just like Jedi mind waving them.
It's like, here's a bag of money. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I would love that. Who is the bitch with the high heels?
Oh, I don't know.
She got out of the car and I was like, this is my favorite character of the season.
She's great.
Does she even speak a word?
No, but she's great. Because then her and the other agent, like 11 left with Paul Reiser. His name is Sam Owens, I think. And then the other 2 agents went to the buyer's house and like kind of like nodded at the 3 boys. And so I have a feeling they're taking them back to Hawkins. Because that's the other thing too, is like apparently Dr. Owens has like a way to get 11 her powers back. But if it doesn't work, then she can never go home again.
Which we're not entirely sure what that means.
Yeah. Like maybe it'll kill her.
Yeah, it sounded ominous. I think it could lose her in the ether because they threaten that a lot on this show.
Yeah.
Vecna appears to be a demon.
Yeah.
That's what they're calling it.
Well, I think it's a demon in D&D. But I think it's like cursing people, essentially.
Well, it predates but it's in the Upside Down.
Well, it's in an Upside Down-esque place.
I think it is the Upside Down, but I don't think it originates from the Upside Down.
Okay.
Because it did the thing
It predates 11 and the facility and everything.
Because it was in the 50s with, I forget the man's name.
Victor Creel. And because it's what Nancy and Robin were doing.
Yeah.
They found it in like a News of the World type of tabloid on microfiche. I was using microfiche in college and I'm only 36. So it's just
because we used to have to remember card catalogs.
Oh yeah, I remember everything. Well, that's a Rolodex.
Yeah.
Card catalogs are.
Both, yeah. He was a man in the 50s with a family that claimed his house was haunted.
Yeah.
And it killed his family and left him alive, and he was declared legally, clinically insane and locked away. And so I think Vecna predates the
Upside Down. Yeah.
And I think it's using the Upside Down.
Sure.
That's
fair
my
enough.
current theory.
Well, because it keeps plugging in to stuff. Yeah, okay. I'm with you.
I'm not going to wage too much on it. I'm not going to emotionally commit to something that I just because we don't want to blow this too wide open with only one more season to go.
Sure, yeah.
But, you know how I love Gods and Monsters.
Yeah.
It is in a X-Men Cerebro-like way, which they also name-checked in the show.
Well, it's the name of Dustin's
computer.
The tower that at the beginning of season 3, they go build a tower so he can radio talk to Susie.
Never-ending story. So it's like cerebroing itself through the town, I guess, and preying off of trauma.
Yeah, because it's
Jamie Lee Curtis trauma.
It's picked one of the other basketball players.
I forgot his name already.
And then also Max. It got Max. Because she's looking through the files of Fred and Chrissy. They're both having headaches. They're both having nightmares. They've both experienced a trauma of some kind. We didn't find out what Chrissy's was, though. But then Max sees the clock at the very end, and Vecna is calling to her. So we're going to have to get that fixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think that was it for this episode.
That was
so much.
It was a lot. I love the long episodes, but it makes our recaps a little long, too. All right. We're going to go watch episode 4.
Bye.
Bye.